the false card you have for your past is the Eight of Pentacles. Okay, so this man's working away and he's repeating these things. I'm also seeing, okay, this is what I'm seeing. There's attention. I'm seeing attention. Someone wanted your attention. And I think they were trying to this is what I'm seeing. They were trying to get your attention. They were working towards this really hard. They also had a little bit of fear in them. They wanted this, but they were a little bit frightened as well. Not frightened, but they're kind of like, oh, I really want this person's attention, but I'm a little bit nervous as well. That's kind of what I'm getting. Now, I think to them, they were kind of looking a bit obvious some of the time. They were kind of like, look at me, look at me. I don't think you were noticing this. Yeah, what I'm seeing is, okay, I'll just tell you how I'm seeing this. I'm just looking at these coins and they're going up this tree. And to me, it sort of looks like a totem pole of attention. It's like this great big tree with gold all over it. And I think anyone would notice this great big tree with gold all over it. But you weren't noticing that. And there's repetition as well here. You know, it feels like something's going around and around in circles. And I think that's what they were doing. It's like they come around, they kind of circle around. They're almost at the point of talking to you. It's like, oh, I'm going to talk to them. And then it's like, oh, tell them how I feel. I want to tell them. And then they never quite get there. They kind of turn around and go back again, because I'm looking at these coins and they're round and they're kind of turning around to me. And I'm seeing cycles as well, repetition. You know, this man's working on making these coins. He's repeating what he's doing. He's making the same coin. They all look the same over and over again. And this is the cycle repeating over and over again. Now, I don't think you noticed this. I keep on seeing that you weren't noticing this, or you were kind of, busy doing other things or whatever. And they were kind of putting on this display, but they weren't kind of saying anything. They weren't being obvious to you. It makes me think of a kind of, when a peacock shows its feathers, but, peacocks don't talk, of course. So they were trying to show their feathers to you, but they weren't saying anything. So I think once you notice them properly, once you see this, I think you'll realise, because I think you're quite perceptive. I think once something's right on your radar, you know what's going on. You know what people's motivations are as well. You can see that quite quickly once you realise. So I think you will probably notice this eventually. They're an attractive person as well, because I was seeing this kind of peacock and this display and all of that. So they are like that. I don't think you'll find their actions very attractive though, because they're not totally open. They're coming up to you and they're kind of putting on this show almost, or they're kind of, look at me, look at how amazing I am, I'm very attractive, but they don't say anything. And again, I can't quite see if you've noticed them or not. My feeling is that you might not have, because they keep on pushing this, they keep on working at this, and then they run away, and then they work again, and then they run away. That's what I'm seeing. I don't think communication's their strongest point, and you don't like that. So, and because, you've dealt with a few people who've been really bad communicators as well, I think, on and off. It's like on, off, what are you doing? And you've been fed up with that. You want to know where you are with people. So I think any hint of this kind of bad communication and on and off, I think that just has you running away. So, I don't know, something different might happen down the line. You might change your mind, you might notice them, they might come and talk to you. I don't know. I can't see what's going to happen then, but all I can see is what's happening in this. And that's what I'm seeing. They're coming backwards and forwards. My feeling is that you're either not noticing them or you don't want to. That's what I'm getting. Okay, so the next card you have for your past is the Queen of Swords. Yeah, you've got your guard up. You've got your guard up, or you did have, maybe you still do, but this is what's happening then in the past. So, again, you've had these kind of people in your life before. You've had this kind of backwards and forwards going on. And I don't want to make light of it. It's quite serious, actually. You've had some quite bad experiences in love, I think. I'm seeing two specific people here, actually, and you were really hurt. I think one of them took this connection between you quite seriously, actually, and I don't think you realized how serious they were. I think you felt like, oh, I don't think they take this seriously. if you're wondering about that even today, you might not have, you might have forgotten this, but if you are wondering, they did take this seriously. They did take this very, very seriously. They didn't show that to you, but they did take it seriously. And that's what I'm talking about. People who take things seriously, but they don't tell you. And then people who look like they're taking things seriously and they don't. All this kind of jumbled up thing. You just want someone to come and say, I feel this way, but none of these people are doing this. And so that's why I think eventually when this person comes out and does say something, if they do, I can't quite see if they will or not, I think you're going to say, well, why don't you say? So that's kind of what I'm getting here. So, and then I think, because I'm seeing these two people of your past, and I think this other person that you wanted to take things seriously with, I think they were the opposite. I don't think they did. And that really hurt you, I think, more than anything. I think it took you a long time to get over that. So, you're quite soft on the inside, really. Not a lot of people see that. And you don't show that side of yourself either, so that's probably why they don't see that. But yeah, the Queen of Swords is a widow. Well, a lot of people say that. There's debate about that. But she's been through some very hard times. She's been through a lot of heartache, and that's why she's got her sword up. And that's why you've got your sword up. Same thing. You're like the Queen of Swords. So that's what I'm seeing there. Okay, so the last card you have your past is the Wheel of Fortune. I love this. This is all about cycles again. So I'm seeing that again here. But this is about, I'm seeing a lot of newness here. Things turning around, turning a corner, leaving things behind. And so there's a lot of newness here, new beginnings. I'm seeing that as well. This is quite interesting, actually. I hope this is going to make sense. I'm seeing one cycle, two very separate times in your life. So there's one cycle and now there's another one. It's a little bit like two chapters. And I think one of these people who I was seeing, the Queen of Swords, who hurt you, they were in the first part, in the first chapter. And the second one was in the second chapter. That's what I'm seeing. So it's almost like, you've got this first chapter of your life and then you've got this second half. And it's a lot brighter. It's almost like, in the Wizard of Oz. This is what I've got in my mind. I've got the Wizard of Oz, and she comes into this, she opens up, she's in the dark, or she's in the black and white, I should say, and she opens up the door and she's in colour. And that's what the second half of your life has been like, or life has been like, not like has been life. So it's very kind of colourful, it's very different, it's very interesting, but it's the hard road. It's been a lot of hard work to get there. So it's easy in some ways, the second part of your life, but it's a lot harder in other ways. And it's a lot harder in ways that a lot of people don't see. A lot of people see this life and they're like, oh, I'm in the black and white life. They're in the colour life. Their life's easy. Their life's fantastic. They're in the Wizard of Oz. They're kind of, down the yellow brick road and they're having fun and all of that. It's not like that in reality. It is not like that. There are a lot of problems. It's colourful, it's interesting, but there are a lot of problems. That's what I'm seeing. I hope this makes sense. I know it's a bit abstract. But yeah, I think a lot of people don't realise that. And I think that's another reason why you're a bit like the Queen of Swords, because you want to kind of shelter yourself from a lot of people who don't understand you. So there's that as well. The other thing is, yeah, this is really sad actually. I think your moods might have been cycling up and down a little bit recently, and I think they have been quite down in the last few days. And I think a lot of people wouldn't understand that either. I think when you have your down times, when you're cycling down, you have your down days, a lot of people don't see that. They're like, what would you have to be worried about? So I think that's also another reason why you keep that to yourself as well when you do get very down. And I think they have been down in the last few days. That's what I'm getting here. Things are generally going in the right direction for you. I have to point that out to you because I don't think you're seeing that right now, or you weren't recently. You were very down recently. You might still be now. I hope not, but you might be. Yeah, things are a lot more positive than you see. I think when you do have these really, really down moods and you do cycle up and down quite a lot, things can get really dark, very, very, very dark. Again, you keep all of that to yourself. You keep a lot of things to yourself. I do that as well. I get like that as well. just remember that, if you can cycle into negativity, you can cycle out as well. So when you're in this, just remember this next time. If you're in one of these really down moods and you're kind of right down the bottom of the cycle, you're down the bottom of the wheel, down with the snake and everything and the horrible jackal and all of that, just think to yourself, I'll get out of this. I've gotten out of this before. I'll do that again. It cycles in and out. It's always going to cycle in and out. I'm going to have to manage this. It's not going to finish forever. I'm not going to come out of this and be on a high forever. But I'm not going to be on a low forever either. That's what that means. This is always going to go up and down. So when you're on a down, just remember, it's going to go up again. I know that probably sounds really cringy and you probably think, oh, well, rolling your eyes. Yes, we all know that. But I feel as if that's what I have to tell you in this card. That's the message I'm getting. Okay. So the first card you have, your present, is the Eight of Wands. Okay, now look at all these wands. There's a lot of action here, and I think there's a lot of communication. This is all about communication. That's what I'm seeing here. A lot of talk. I'm seeing lots of talking, actually. And I'm seeing a lot of people. I'm actually seeing a big group of people. There are 8 wands. There might be even 8 people, or there might be more. A lot of different people. I don't know if this is one event. I think there have been a few things where some people have been talking. Gathering together, that's what I'm seeing, a group. And I think you used to be part of this group, and you're not now. You don't see these people anymore for some reason. Now, I think some people get together quite regularly, actually, or they talk quite regularly. Not everyone, but some of these people. And they talk about different things. One of the things they talk about, I think, is you. I have to tell you this, and I think you know that. Not all the time, just some of the time the conversation comes around to you. I think you know this. I think you already suspect this. That's what I'm seeing. You know this. Now, one of these people, it might be 2. It's definitely 1. I'm seeing 1 definitely. I think they've tried to come and talk to you. I think they've tried to communicate with you. And I don't think you wanted to talk to them, or you ended this, something happened like that. The feeling I'm getting is, you know this, you sense this talk, you know they're talking about you, you know it's happening. I'm just looking at these ones and they're flying through the air. They're flying over this house. There's a little house in the bottom left-hand corner. And that's the target. That's what I'm seeing as the target, and they're missing their target. So that's what happened. That's what happened when they tried to talk to you. They missed their target. That's what you're sensing. It's like, I'm not their friend. I'm not their friend. I'm their target. I'm their target. I know that sounds dramatic, but that's what I'm seeing. You saw yourself as their target, and that's why you got away. You're nobody's target. You are nobody's target. They've learned this now. They know this now. I don't know if that makes any sense to anyone or not. It probably sounds very dramatic and silly as well. That's what I'm seeing. I'm seeing these wands. There's communication, and they're going, flying over, and they're missing a target. And that's you. So they've missed it. They've missed you because you're not going to be their target. That's what I'm seeing. They might be bullies. I don't know. It's quite bad. But you've missed it. The good thing is you've missed that. Or you've said no to it or something. Okay, so the next card you have, your present, is the Ten of Pentacles. I'm feeling quite relieved now. That really made me angry, actually. Okay, this feels a lot calmer. It's quite steady. It's a very stable card. And what I'm seeing now is you've shut that out. You've shut that out of your life. You've shut those people out. You're not letting anyone like that into your life ever again, or anyone who who isn't helpful to you, who isn't good for you to have around. Now, you're kind of getting over all of that. You're kind of, you are achieving things. You're doing things and all of that. And I think you're just keeping to yourself a lot. You're building yourself up. And it's kind of like you're saying, no one's coming in. I want to stay like this. I feel very content as I am right now. I want to keep these barriers around me. And, you're still achieving what you want. You always are. But you're doing this in a much calmer way. It's kind of secluded. That's how it feels. It's like, I'm here, got my barrier around me. I'm very secluded. I'm not letting these people in. And so it feels almost like you're in this little bubble by yourself, and you're doing your work, you're doing your things, and you're kind of content like that for now. I think you do have big things that you want to achieve, but what I'm seeing here is you're just kind of content to do the stuff from day to day. You're kind of back to business, doing the day to day, all of that thing. You're not concentrating on this big thing that you really, really want to achieve. There's a big thing you've always wanted to achieve. You're putting that to one side for now because you're just really dealing with the day to day, and you're calming down. You're calming down after this big storm that I'm seeing in the Eight of Wands, getting yourself back together, kind of putting a bit of a barrier around yourself, just doing the day-to-day stuff. That's what I'm getting. It's very calm. It's very simple. It's very nice. Yeah, again, look at this card. This is what you're avoiding. These two people in the center, they're gossiping, they're whispering. And what's interesting is, I'm seeing this as well, they're at the center of this card. And I think they're at the center of this card because I think this is what's pushing you forward now. It's like, if people are going to talk about me, let them talk. I'll show them. I'll keep going. I'll do better than that. I'll be better. I'll do this and I'll do that. So maybe that's what's keeping you going right now. But again, you're not doing any of these big things. I'm seeing one big ambition you've had since you were quite young. And you're always sort of working a little bit toward that. But right now you're not doing that. You're putting it to one side because you're just kind of a lot calmer. You're dealing with the day to day. Anyway, I'm repeating myself. I won't say any more. Yeah, the last card you have your presence, the Two of Wands. Right, so yes, I think this is about this person who was trying to get your attention. That's what I think. It's still going. I'm still seeing these cycles. I don't know what stage you're at with this. My feeling is that you're still not aware of this, or you're not interested. You're not giving them attention. But they're definitely thinking about you. They can't stop thinking about you. They're just thinking and thinking. They're really struggling. It's almost like they can't move their lives forward. They try, but then they're brought back again. It's this cycle. They go forward and they're pulled back. They go forward and they're pulled back. And it's a little bit like you're this wand that's behind this man. He wants to move forward. He wants to go into the world, but he can't do that because there's this wand behind him and it's bolted to the wall. He can't get it off the wall. So I don't think you're there on purpose. You're not even interested in this person really, or you might be, but you're just not noticing them or something. But their interested in you is huge, or they're interested in you, I should say. So yeah, it's this cycle again. They want to move forward. They try to move towards you. Then they go back again. And it's backwards and forwards. And they can't move forward in their life. It's like they kind of think, oh, I'll forget that. I'll move forward. Oh, I can't do that. Oh, I'll forget that. I'll move on with my life. And then they can't do that because they struggle, and the cycle goes around and around. And I think it's going to keep on going around and around, this cycle, until you either notice them and you decide to connect with them, or they just get over this and they move on. One or the other has to happen, I think, for this cycle to break. But it really should break because it's really hurting them. It's really, really hurting them, and it's stopping them from moving forward. Okay, so the first card you have for your future is the Page of Swords. I think you know what this is about. Yeah, this can be, it's frustrating me actually now, because they either need to talk to you. This annoys me as well. They either need to talk to you or move on. And they're not doing either of those things. They come forward and they go back. And what I'm seeing is they're afraid. They are afraid, because look at this page. He's really defensive, obviously. He's in this defensive position. He's fearful because he's still quite young. He doesn't know how to handle himself properly. If he's in a battle, he's really kind of afraid. And so he's kind of swinging his sword around and he doesn't know how to handle it yet. He doesn't know how to handle this properly. So what I'm seeing is they're afraid. They're afraid of coming forward to you, obviously, but it's not just you. I think they're afraid of a relationship, actually. I think in their mind, they have this kind of fantasy thing in their mind where they want to be in a relationship with you or with someone, but the reality of that actually scares them. It's a little bit like, because the pages are teenagers and they have these kind of, they have these kind of crushes that they have, and maybe like a film star or a movie star or someone, they have this big crush on someone. But it's safe for them to have this crush on someone because they don't actually have to have a proper relationship. That's when teenagers kind of test out what it feels like to be in a relationship. And they're a little bit like that, actually. So that's why they don't quite come forward. They're very scared by this. They'd rather have the fantasy than the reality. That's what I'm getting. So, they're still on this cycle, though. It's not good for them, and they're still really, really struggling with this. They're really struggling. So, they need to get off this. They need to get off this. And you don't need this fantasy either, because you want reality. You want someone who's either going to say something or move on, and they're not doing that. And to me, now that I'm seeing this, to me they come across as quite childish. So if you do know who this is and you're not interested, I can see why that is. I can see why. The next card you have for your future is the Sun, which is a fantastic card. This is great. I love this. Okay, so what I was seeing in the Ten of Pentacles was that you've got this big ambition. You've always wanted to do this thing all your life, probably, or for many years. It goes back quite a long way. Now, you put a stop to this, or not a stop, but you kind of put it aside because you were kind of dealing with the day-to-day, and I think you were exhausted from what was going on in the Eight of Wands there. So now I think you're going to start to kind of look at this all over again at this time. Now, what this feels like to me, this ambition, it feels a bit like travel. It's like you want to go somewhere or you want to be somewhere. It might be literal travel. It might be a place that your heart's set on, or it might be a place in your life. It might be like a stage in your life that you want to get to, a place you want to get to in your life, if that makes sense. And so, yeah, there are times when you put this out of your mind, but I think at other times you let yourself really run free, you let your mind run free, you think about this, you might even have pictures of this place or this thing or whatever it is, physical pictures, or maybe on Pinterest or something like that. Now, what I want to tell you is you can do this. You can definitely do this. What I'm seeing is there is an opportunity that's going to come up. It's not going to be for a while. Now, I'm just looking over at the Ten of Pentacles once again. There might be a waiting time, or a time when you might not be able to earn money while you're kind of hanging around waiting for this thing to happen, if that makes sense. So it's something like a gap in your earnings. It might be a gap between contracts, or it might be some kind of lean time that you have while you're waiting. It's something like that. I don't know if that makes any sense to you. So what I'm seeing here is this is like, make sure you have savings behind you. Start building that up now if you haven't already. Be prepared, because that can be what the Ten of Pentacles can be about as well. Building up your money, slowly saving, all of that kind of thing. So, you can do this thing. There's a lot of work in this thing. And there is a lot of money around this. There is a lot of money around this. But what I'm seeing is it's irregular money. So it's like, I think what's going to happen is you're going to have to get your head around working with this kind of new irregular income flow, if that makes sense, when the time comes. I'm just looking at this child, and it's like a lot of money comes in with this thing, but it stops and starts. It's irregular, so it might be contract work. It's something that's kind of on and off. So when you get this money that comes in and it's good, you'll probably feel quite excited, a bit like a child, all excited and all of that. And that's fine. Feel like a child. It's fantastic. Feel excited and all of that. I love that. But yeah, feel like a child. The messages, this is what I'm seeing, feel like a child, but handle things like an adult. So don't get too carried away. That's what I'm trying to say. Don't get all, oh, I've got all this money, I'll go spend it all, or oh, I'm all excited. Plan things properly. Again, save your money. Make sure you kind of look at that income flow and work with it properly. This is far off into the future, and I think you know that. But again, start planning now, start saving now, start working toward that now. Not just working toward the good times, but start working towards the other times as well. Get ready for that. That's what I'm seeing in that card. I hope that makes sense to you. Okay, so the last card you have for your future is the Page of Pentacles, which I love. So yeah, this is also about this thing, this ambition. Now, it's far in the future. Again, I think you know that. Yeah, what I'm seeing is this feels a little bit like you might have had this chance before, or a chance with this before at one time, or maybe there was something else that was similar to this. And because it feels a little bit like, oh, I missed that chance before, I've lost it, there's only one left and it's gone and I can't do that again. That's what I'm getting. Now, that's not true. If this is how you're feeling, that's not true. Because if you look at this page, he's holding this coin and it looks as if he's afraid to hold this. It's like he thinks he's going to drop it. So you're not going to drop it this time. Maybe you dropped it last time. Maybe you didn't get this last time, but you're not going to drop it this time. That's what I'm seeing. So, and yeah, I think this is why, because you're in the second chapter of your life now. You're in a different time now. You're in the colourful time. You think differently. You are different. You're almost ready now. You're not quite ready, but you're getting there. And I think by the time this thing comes along for you, this opportunity or whatever this is, you will be ready for it. You'll be ready. You'll be in the right mindset. The time that it came along before, or this thing that was similar to this, you were in the old time, you're in the black and white time, I should say. So you weren't ready for that at that time in your mind. Now you will be. That's what I'm seeing. You're almost ready now. By the time the thing comes in, you'll be 100% ready. That's what I'm seeing. So don't worry about that. Don't think, oh, I've missed that, I'm not getting it back again. You are getting it back again, or you're not getting it back again. Sorry, you're getting a new thing. You're getting this new thing. And it's what you really want, but it's sometime in the future. Also, there's this irregular money that comes with it as well. So keep that in mind as well.